Mhm. All right, fantastic. So we're getting started. Okay, so what I'll do, like I said, if anyone joins as I'm going into it, hopefully I will be able to see when new people are trying to come on board, and then I can just admit them. And hopefully that'll, fingers crossed, all that'll work out. So let's get right into it. So let me collapse this window. Oh, what I will ask everyone to do though for me, just to make sure that we have a clean recording, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. That way, just in case any background noise comes in, it'll be a clean recording. So if you can mute yourself, that would be fantastic. I greatly appreciate that. All righty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get right into it so that we can be respectful of all of your time who came and joined me today. So you are here for what I'm calling an update to a workshop that I've taught in the past or run in the past called Get a Sellable Idea for Your First or Next Coloring Book. And so, again, without further ado, I'm going to just kind of move right through it because I've got a lot of good stuff I want to show. So I'm just kind of go through the slides. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to silence your phone, close any unnecessary tabs, and be really present for the next, I'd say maybe 60 minutes, probably closer than maybe an hour 15. We'll just see how it goes. Come to play full out. Open a notepad if you'd like, or grab a, if you like using your computer, I use my phone a lot of times to take notes on iPad, grab a pen and stay until the end to learn about some bonuses. So one of the things that if you got my email from me, one of the things I'm going to be giving you today is access to a new prep guide, which is a part of another thing I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on. I've taken all of the information. I've been teaching a course for about a year now called Publish and Promote Your Coloring Book in 30 Days. And so I've taken my personal experience and the experiences I've had with all of my students and members to create what I'm calling now a coloring book idea prep kit, a prep guide. And this will include a roadmap, what I've developed is a 10-step roadmap to going from idea to fleshing out what that idea could be to then moving into developing it into a book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all of you who attended live, I promised I would do that, a copy of this roadmap, but I'm going to give it to you towards the end because if you're downloading it and trying to look at it and all that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be too distracting. So I'm going to give it to you at the end because there's more that comes with that. But everyone here will be getting a copy of this roadmap. So I just want to let you know about that. The other stay till the end bonus is going to be 3 unconventional but highly effective strategies to help coloring book creators sell more coloring books. So I'm going to actually go through that inside the presentation. So again, you're going to be getting the workbook. Then I'm going to give you that at the end, and then I'm going to go through these 3 strategies for you while we're here. All right. So let's go right into it. So for starters, who am I and why am I qualified to speak on this subject? So I'm a 4 or 5 times self-published author. I've published other books. I've been in the self-publishing arena for probably 20 plus years. I'm also an artist, designer, graphic designer, course creator, photographer, and I am a teacher. I love to teach. I'm also a seasoned marketing strategist and implementation consultant with 20 plus years of experience helping entrepreneurs set their businesses up online. I started out in 1996 when building websites was a thing. I was probably one of the first people to buy a program called PageMill. That was a website builder, and I taught myself web design and went through all of that into WordPress and all of that stuff. So I have a lot of experience working with things, setting up systems and presences online. Aside from writing my own books, one of my first sort of, I would say, art-related book projects I did was I helped a friend and a colleague of mine who was a children's illustrator develop her illustrations into a children's book called Bejo the Brave. And I also published my first coloring book 2 years ago called I've done that book, and then I've done several journal planner / journal planner coloring books that I've also used in my private groups and group programs. So again, I published that book. Actually, need to update this. This actually was actually be 2 years. This in August. I'm sorry, July the 18th. I published my book called "Never Too Late to Make It Happen." I launched a Facebook group called Let's Color Together. That grew to almost 2,000 members and an email list of 3,000 people. And I created a paid membership community called My Coloring Club and did all of that within 6 months. So I got an idea to put together a group where people could just get together and color and just connect and hang out. It was almost like a knitting club or a knitting circle, but instead of knitting, we colored together. And so I put that together, and that was really successful. I enjoyed it very much, but my passion was really more teaching and educating and inspiring and helping creatives get presences set up online. So I went back to my roots, set that up. So I just wanted to let you know that there's all kinds of ways to be able to do this. You can have your books, which I recommend having multi-tier experiences as you're developing your products, because people love the books, but they also love camaraderie and connection. And that's what I learned having ran my coloring club for a year, is that people were looking for a place just to be with other people that share the same passion and interest. So I wanted to make sure I share that with you as we're thinking about how you can expand your reach and also your income potential beyond just the sale of the book on Amazon. So I'll get more into that a little bit later. Since I started the Publish and Promote Your Coloring Book in 30 Days program, which I launched a year ago, actually this month, I've helped over a dozen creators produce and self-publish their first books, covering every possible subject from Christian Bible study to afternoon tea, justice impacted families for people who are incarcerated. That's a whole other, I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Anti-bullying, cannabis and CBD, humor, children's self-esteem, self-care, animal care, celebrating unknown Black historians, angels and intuitive guidance. Those are just to name a few so far. I'm also the creator of the Coloring Book Creator podcast, where I feature all of the authors from my Publish and Promote program. So everyone who goes through my program that gets their book published, I interview them for the show. And so I'm going to go, even, like I said, I've published my own book, Never Too Late to Make It Happen. But I also wanted to create this because I want to share with you the mistakes I made, the things that I would do differently if I had to do it. Again, starting from knowing what I know now, and quite frankly, knowing what I knew then, what I would do differently, I just didn't do at that time. So a lot of what motivated me and why coloring books for me, I tell a lot of my members and my students that, yeah, 3 years ago, if you had told me I was going to be publishing a coloring book, I'd have looked at you like you had three heads. I'm like, I don't, I'm not doing that. But I was, life has a way of making you shift in ways and stretch you in ways that you didn't anticipate. You didn't foresee yourself ever doing. As for many of us, we're all deeply impacted by the pandemic. And that was during the time when this came to me. But it was even deeper than that. My father had been struggling with a long bout with Alzheimer's, and he had passed away in the middle of all of that. And I wasn't even able to even go back to the funeral because of all the restrictions and all of that was going on. So imagine being isolated, period. And then your family dealing with something like that with a family member, and then them actually transitioning, and then you're not able to even be there to have that moment of closure. So it was a rough year. And so I say, when you go through things like that, it really brings out what's really going on with you. And so it just all kind of came to a head in 2021, as I'm sure it did for many of you in more ways than one. But I realized I was burned out on my current business. I wasn't doing anything that really lit me up anymore. Wasn't sleeping. Again, didn't realize that was grief combined with depression. And so what ended up happening was I got myself some help. I went out and I got myself a therapist to help me work through those issues, and trying to help me to sort of find my footing in this new reality that I was living in at the time. And I wanted to, at my core, in my heart, I feel like I'm an artist. I'm a photographer, a creator, but I didn't want to do photography anymore. And I'd always kind of heard that coloring was a therapeutic way to connect, to just, I didn't want anything I had to think about too much. I just wanted something to do that would allow me just to be in that moment. I didn't want to be on the computer. That was really important to me. I went out and bought art supplies and paint and all this stuff, didn't do anything with them. What drew my attention to coloring was the fact that it wasn't expensive to get started, didn't require a lot of supplies, just a set of pencils and a book. And I, for some reason, at the time, I don't think I bought anyone else's book, but me being sort of that entrepreneurial mind, creative mind, all of the things I had done, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to make my own book. That's me. So, but it was good because it gave me something to do. It gave me something to focus my attention and my energy on. So by creating my own book, as opposed to buying someone else's, it gave me that sort of, like, I didn't have any expectations, no plan, nothing. I wasn't even worried about selling the book. I just wanted to utilize things that I maybe had felt had gone dormant for a while. So I developed this book, and why I chose this particular book and this particular subject and title was, when my father passed away, I had just turned 58 at the time. And my dad was only 20 years older than me. And when you, for me, I can't speak for other people, but when you lose a parent, um, you start thinking about your own mortality and things that you hadn't done in your life. At least that was my story. Things I hadn't done, things I hadn't accomplished, things he had told me that he didn't get to accomplish. And so that was what the spark came in. And also that too. And I've always loved inspirational quotes. And so I didn't know how to draw, but I knew how to lay out design. And I always liked and enjoyed typography. That was sort of the graphic design part of me. So I just kind of merged where I was at emotionally and what things I was drawn to, and took my skill set, and I developed a book of inspirational quotes. And I liked the fact, when I was doing my research on Amazon, which I'm going to go into that in a minute, as a part of your validating your idea, I was looking at different types of books that were already on the market. And the ones that stood out to me the most, because I thought they were unique and quirky and different, were the ones that the background page was, the background color of the page was black, but the type was white. I liked that design wise. So I took what research I found, where I was at in my life emotionally and all of that stuff, put together this book, and I did it in like 5 days because I had nothing else going on. So I put together the book and put it up on Amazon, and then quite frankly, kind of forgot about it. Really didn't think about it anymore. But I was sitting on the bed, getting dressed to go get into the day, and I just heard this small, still voice inside of me that said, "It's not about the book." Didn't know what that meant. I kind of thought to myself, well, okay. Again, I didn't do the book for money, but it would have been nice to sell some books. But the point of the matter is that it was something else going on. But me going through the process, going through the journey, going through the story of what I just shared, that was what I didn't realize was what that message meant at that moment, that it wasn't about the book. It wasn't for almost a year. Well, really, in actuality, 6 months, it began to become revealed to me what was really going on. And so with that said, and the reason why I share that with you is because your story, your history, your background, your circumstances, whatever it is that you are, wherever you are in your life right now, that impacts what subjects you pick, what interests you, but more to the point, how you will connect with the people out here who will purchase your book and possibly work with you in different ways. Again, I thought I'll put the book up on there on Amazon. It'll make some money passively, whatever. And then, and I'll just keep on with life and go back to whatever I was already doing in the past. But again, it led me to what I'm doing now, but I couldn't have manipulated what I'm doing now had I thought about that back then. I had to let it unfold organically. So I published the book. A few months later, went into, I want to connect with other colorists because I didn't know anything about that world. And so my first instinct was to create a Facebook group of my own. And I called it Let's Color Together. And I used my skills in Facebook marketing and ads. And I developed that group. And I got to meet other colorists and hear their story and why they do it. And then I rolled that into a paid community, which was called my Coloring Club. And it just evolved from that. And then it went from that to, I think I want to help other people develop their books and develop their ideas. And so again, I say it all to say is allow the journey, if you decide to, to move forward with this, allow it to reveal itself to you. Don't make it be so much about, oh, I've got to just do this book and throw it up on Amazon and make a couple of bucks. That can happen, but I feel it's bigger than that. And I think the fact that you're here and you're drawn to me, I'm not saying this from an ego perspective, but the fact that you're drawn to me, because there's a lot of places you could have spent the time today, I think tells me that there's something bigger at play here than just you developing a book. That's what I want to make sure I say. So again, the mistakes that I can say I made was I don't want to call them mistakes because I don't think it was a mistake in the grand scheme of things, but that I didn't have a big marketing plan for the book. I didn't even know I was going to even do a book until probably the week before I did it. I didn't have any system in place or anything like that, but I just allowed it to unfold. And so I say to all of you, and I ask everyone if you see the news joint, please mute yourself. Make sure we have a clean.
Did you hear what? Yes, who's that?
Please mute yourself.
What? What's that? On the filter. Come on, I need these.
Well, that's too bad now.
Hold on a second. Hello? Hello? Can you mute yourself, please? I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Everyone, please mute yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. All right, good. All righty. So, moving in right along. The question I would ask you to ask yourself is, what do you believe has stopped you or slowed you down so far from creating and publishing your book? And you can put your response in the chat. I'll go back and look at them, but I just wanted to ask you that question. What do you believe has stopped you? Because there's a myriad of reasons why we can stop ourselves or not move forward. I could have used the thing, well, I've never done a book. I don't know anything about books, but quite frankly, I think the fact that I didn't know a lot about them actually works to my advantage, because I think sometimes we can know too much. And so I feel like that if you get clear about what it is that's slowing you down and not look at it as a hindrance, but look at it as an opportunity. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about being the person who's called, who is the most unqualified. So I would say, without any hesitation, I felt like I was probably the most unqualified person to be creating a coloring book, let alone doing what I'm doing now. But again, I allowed myself to basically, in a sense, be used in this way, and something has come out of it that I couldn't even remotely had anticipated. And that's going back to what I shared earlier. That's when the answer became revealed to me, when I heard that message saying that it's not about the book. So anyway, one of the concerns that a lot of people have is, what if I publish my book and no one buys it? It was in the back of my mind too, but that's the number one. When I started creating these workshops, I would always ask that question inside of the form. And most of you, all of you came in through a Facebook ad. And one of the questions I ask is, what do you hope to get out of a book? What do you want to do a book for? But one of the response that came in quite a bit was, what if I published a book and no one buys it? And that was the reason why I developed this workshop, because that concern can be laid to rest. And I'll say it, and this is why. If you are clear about what you're doing, who you want, who you are, and who you want to connect with, because again, it's got to be bigger than the book. It must be bigger than the book. The reason why I say that is that if you're just focusing on the book as a standalone item that's separate from you, then your mind is focused on, well, it's on Amazon, but no one's buying it. But we as the author, publisher, it's our responsibility to direct people over to where the book is listed. It's not Amazon's job to market our book. I say look at Amazon as a fulfillment center, not as a marketing vehicle. Yes, they will process the order, they will ship the book for you. And yes, if you put all the right keywords in and all of that stuff in there, yes, the algorithm, because everyone has an algorithm now, will work with you to help you get more sales, but it's incumbent upon us as the author creator to start directing our network, our people and our world over to where our book is listed and encouraging sales and things of that nature. So if you're focusing on worrying if no one's going to buy the book, I would say you're focusing on the wrong thing. What you should focus on is, are you doing something that has meaning for you? And are you doing something that you are willing to get in front of? It's something I say to my students all the time. You've got to be willing to get in front of your book. What does it mean to get in front of your book? It means you're out there talking about the book. You're out there letting the world know that you are a published author. We can't assume anything. You have to tell people, our families, our friends, our network, be proud of what you've accomplished. When I look at Foe's video in the Facebook group, it just excites me because it was a lot going on in her journey up to getting that book done. And so to have that book in her hands now is such a massive accomplishment. And I've seen it over and over and over again, in that energy and that excitement and that enthusiasm and that passion to open the book and feel it in her hands and share it and talk to people. I think when I looked this morning, I think that video has like 26 comments on it. It's that level of energy that you want to bring to what you've created. And you do it all the time. You should be proud of what you've done. And it should be something that you talk about all the time. We think about marketing and sales as something that we're doing to people or that we're begging people to buy from us. And no, I think a coloring book is one of the easiest and most fun things to share. And when you can identify as a published author, when you can identify as that, people automatically look at you differently. And when you're out there freely talking about your book and you're sharing your book and you're connecting with people, I can't help but feel that people would automatically want to invest in what you created without you having to effort or push anything. So I would just say that if the question in your mind is, what if I published a book and no one buys it? I would say you're focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on creating something that has meaning for you, something that you can stand behind and actually get in front of. And talk about it all the time, share it all the time. That will take care of the sales. That will take care of the sales. All righty. So again, as I said, this kind of ties into the stay till the end of the presentation for the strategies to help promote the book. So with that said, what's your story? You don't have to tell me, but I'm saying, what's your story? What's your history? I shared mine, and why I did what I did, because understanding that's also going to influence what you decide to make your book about. But the number one thing that you should be asking yourself is, how will your book be a contribution to helping to make the world a better place? That's the question you should be asking. How will your book be a contribution to helping make the world a better place? Because without going into any details, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and people are looking for a place to make it kind of stop for a little while. That for me is what coloring represented for me. I needed to find a way to make it stop for a little while. And if you can provide that container, that space, if you can provide that, you are a welcome asset to people's lives right now. You truly are. In whatever capacity you choose to be out there with your book. Your book is like your invitation into your world. And I just want to leave you with, know that you have something of value, who you are as a person. And the book is the way that that's the connector, that's the invitation. So if you ask yourself that question, how will your book be a contribution that also influence what you decide to make the book about? Other question that comes up is, how do you create coloring books that are different and meaningful and fun to color? Again, that goes into who you are, what you're connected to, and then what we research and what we find out. All righty. So we're going to move right into talking about the 3 essentials of launching a successful coloring book. First, we got to find the idea. In finding the idea, I always like to go to, I had a client years ago, I was asking a question about something that I needed an answer to, and he's told me to consult the Oracle. And I asked him, I said, who's the Oracle? And he said, Google. So Google is where I go when I'm researching a potential idea for a book. And in the workbook that I'm going to give you, I lay out this. That's why I want to just show it to you visually. Then I'll give you the workbook, and then you can go do this on your own. But what I like to do is to go to google.com, and then I type in the subject that I'm thinking about making my book about. And this is something you may not know. So when you're in Google, type in the subject of what you think you want to make the book about, and literally use the plus sign, then type out the word coloring book, plus sign again, and then type in Amazon, and do it again, and then type in Etsy. So I'm going to show you this in real time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and this is an example that I used. So I used Real Housewives. Oh, I think it's a graphic. Let me just go to Google and I'll do it. So we go to Google and we type in Real Housewives. And just so you know, I don't watch this show, but I'm just, I just used it because I thought it was good for illustrative purposes. Coloring book, plus sign, and then Amazon. So it's the subject, the plus sign, coloring book, plus sign, Amazon. And I do search. And then I see if there's any books out there on that subject. Now, right now, I see one book on Amazon called Real Housewives Coloring Book. And that tells me I'm doing this because I want to see, is there anyone out there who's done a book like mine? And I'm also going to say this too, if you're worried about competition, you actually want to find books that are in some genre close to what you want to do, because that shows that the market has been sort of verified in a sense. Now, there's other things with this that I won't necessarily get into. But I will say what comes to mind with this is, and I guess this is okay because the book is still up here, but when you're going after characters or subjects or themes that are related to movies or TV shows or celebrities and that kind of thing, be careful of that, because that can get into copyright infringement and trademark infringement. So this book, I've been using this example in this workshop for a while, and it's still up. So I'm assuming that maybe even Bravo, which is the network behind Real Housewives, has approved this, or if they're behind the book. But I'm sure I want to make sure I put that caveat in there. If you're using any trademark branded, definitely without question, stay away from anything remotely related to Disney. That will get you in trouble so fast. So stay away from that. I'd probably say Marvel or any big brand type thing. Just be very careful about using anything like that. I just want to make sure I say that. So anyway, so this is one book that I found. Let's see here. Let me see if there's any others. Let's see. Now, they also were selling this book on Etsy for a while, but I don't see it there right now. Here is another one on the Real Housewives of New York. And that's another one. Okay. So again, there's only a couple of titles there, but at least you're seeing if is there any book out there like the one I'm thinking about creating. Now, I know there was one on Etsy for a while, so what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll change out Amazon and I'll put in the word Etsy and do the same thing there. And then I'll see if there's any books or coloring pages or anything like that on Etsy. So here is Real Housewives coloring book on Etsy. And actually that same title, if you notice on Amazon, this is the same book is over there. There's something else I want to make sure I point out too, and I didn't do that on Amazon. When you find a book close to what you want to publish, when you're doing your research, look at how the books are being marketed, meaning how many graphics are they using? Images like this carry a lot of weight. So how are they displaying the book? How many images are they using? Are they using videos, for an example? So this is also a part of your research that you'll do as well. The other thing that you, let's see, it's not moving here. Okay, here we go. See things like this where they're displaying multiple pages in a frame. This gives the buyer a sense of what is inside the book. Things like this, do they offer free shipping, so on and so forth. The other thing you want to look at is you want to see how the book is being described. And you also want to look at the reviews. This is really important as well. And I would say with reviews, you want to look at the 1-star reviews, the 2-star reviews, as much as you do the 5-star reviews. The 1-star and 2-star reviews and even 3-star reviews will tell you what the person didn't like about the book. It could be everything from the book came bent or not in good condition to I've seen reviews on books that said that there were multiples of the same design in the book. I've seen that on reviews. I've seen where the book was set up where they didn't have a blank page on the opposite side. So the person coloring the book, if they use like a wet medium, like a gel pen or something like that, how it bled through to the other page. You want to look at that. You want to hear things about paper quality. You want to hear things about, just find out what people are not happy about, because that's going to inform what you make sure that you will not have happen in your book. You also want to see how they talk about the book. So, they're giving you the dimensions of the book. Is the paper coated or uncoated? Is it cardstock? Each page has nothing printed on the back to prevent bleed through. How long it takes to ship. If it's original artwork. You want to look at those things. And even if you don't find books necessarily in your genre, when you just do the research in general, you can put in any subject. Like we go back over to, let's get out of Real Housewives for a minute. Let's go back over to Google. And let's put in, let's put in flowers. Plus coloring book, plus Amazon. Okay, so then I'm going to go and pull up, let's say, this book here, 100 Flowers. Okay, so again, you want to look at the subject. What did they say in the, because this is going to be very important for organic sales on Amazon. What you put in this title is really important. Again, you want to look at how they're displaying the book. This book has a lot of sample images to show you what's inside the book. By the way, this here is called A+ content. When you publish your book on Amazon, they will not give you, they only give you, I think, 2 or 3 images, but there's a way that you can add what they call A+ content and add multiple pages from the inside of your book in there. That's something I teach in the Publish and Promote program. The other thing you want to make sure you also look at is you want to look at, again, this is all called A+ content. So you have to make all these graphics and upload them into your listing, but you only can do this after the book is published. But the more, if you look at the way this person has displayed this, you're giving that potential buyer all the resources and information that they need to make a purchasing decision. So if you notice a good headline, multiple pages of artwork, again, artwork down here to display what the book looks like. They call these kind of lifestyle images where you see the hand coloring. It's that kind of thing. You want to also see where the book is in terms of, again, its reviews. So if I go down, click right here, it says a 1-star review. I want to see what that 1-star review is talking about. Okay, so here is a complaint. Deeply disappointed in paper and bleeding ink. I had, so this is the stuff you kind of want to look at. Paper quality is terrible, disappointing paper quality. So that was the common thing that was coming up. Again, depending upon how you publish or where you publish, I would say always add a blank page so have a coloring page and then a blank page on the opposite side. And that will help reduce the bleed through. And if you want to if you're going to use what they call Amazon's KDP program, which is what I talk about in my published course program, you can put a black to make the opposite side page black, and that will help reduce bleed. So even if the page design is, let's see, let me go back. If the page design is like this is white with the graphic on it, then the opposite side could be black, and that could help reduce the bleed through. So that could be one way to do it. Because if you use Amazon KDP to do the printing, we don't have a lot of choice over the paper quality that they use. But a lot of people sell coloring books on Amazon using Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing program. So, again, that's what I've used. That's what all of my students use and my members use. So again, if you put blank pages in between, that could help reduce that if that's an issue. And you always want to order a test copy of your book before you actually make it available for sale to check for quality. You want to make sure you do that too. Again, you want to look at descriptions. They use, bold points to sort of display what the features of the book is what I'm trying to say. You want to look at pricing. You want to look at all of that. So again, that's one preliminary way to research titles and subjects for your potential book. All righty. So again, that formula is the subject with the plus sign, coloring book, plus sign, then do Amazon, then change out Amazon, and then do Etsy and do the same thing. Okay. Inside of my program, I give you a spreadsheet that you can then record all of your research findings so that you don't have to go back and go, okay, what did I find again? And where was that? You don't have to do all of that. I've got a spreadsheet that I provide inside my course that you can do to document all of your findings. All righty. Now, the latest thing that I have surprisingly discovered, which I'm so excited about, let me see if I can get back to my presentation here really quick, is now ChatGPT. ChatGPT is really good for helping you get some inspiration for potential ideas that you could do. Now, what I did was before we got on the call today, I'll show you this first, and then I'll go into how I discovered this. So I asked ChatGPT to create a persona for me. I said, give me a persona of someone. Actually, this is the exact question that I asked ChatGPT. I said, could you please help me find 3 characters, 3 people, life story descriptions of people who are feeling drawn towards creating, publishing, and marketing their first or next coloring book. I would like 3 females and 1 male, different age and background. Each is interested in self-publishing, art, and self-employment, either full or part-time. They're all multi-passionate people, which is why they're struggling with a book idea and how to promote it. I don't need potential ideas, just their life story and background. ChatGPT gave me these 4 people, personas. The one that stood out for me was Alicia. And it was like Alicia is a 45-year-old mother of two who works as a teacher in New York City. She's always loved art, but her passion is on hold to focus on her career and family. However, with her kids grown, her teaching schedule reduced to COVID-19, Alicia is feeling a strong pull towards creating her own coloring book. She wants to create something that will inspire her students and help them learn about different cultures and traditions. However, she is struggling to find the time and motivation to get started. So I took that persona, put in a ChatGPT, and I said, based on this backstory, what kind of coloring book ideas, because this person give me 15 ideas, and I just copied and pasted that bio in there. And it gave me these 15 ideas. I won't read all of them, I'll just kind of go over them. But Multicultural Festival, a coloring book featuring illustrations of different cultural festivals from around the world. Women Who Changed the World, coloring book highlighting influential women from history and their contributions. Diverse fairy tales, world architecture, endangered animals, mindful mandalas, seasons and celebrations, inspirational quotes, multicultural cuisine, environmental awareness, cultural customs, famous landmarks, positive affirmations, musical instruments, cultural patterns. The one that stood out for me was, I like the direction of Multicultural Festival, a coloring book featuring illustrations of different cultural festivals from around the world. In which direction could I take this? Could you give me 10 unique ideas? Please focus on marketability and desirability when you do. It came back with this: 10 unique ideas for Alicia's Multicultural Festival coloring book with the focus on marketability and desirability. So the Festivals of Light book, coloring book featuring illustrations from around the world with Hanukkah, Christmas, Diwali, carnival celebrations featuring celebrations from Brazil, Trinidad, Lunar New Year, Day of the Dead, Holy Festival, Mardi Gras, Cherry Blossom Festival, Mid-Autumn Festival, October Festival, Songkran. It's Southeast Asian. The one that I liked was I Feel Drawn to Festivals of Light. Then it gave me, so I said, I think it's important to create this coloring book with the coloring book idea with the understanding that not all readers celebrate holidays or have religious viewpoints that could conflict. For example, Jewish people don't celebrate Christmas. Knowing this, what are the 5 potential buying personas for this particular book? And it came back with this: educators and teachers, multicultural families, art enthusiasts, travelers, gift shoppers. And I just kept going with this to have it drill down even more. So this is telling me who I could market my book to. This is giving me ideas for the subjects I could make the book around, or a series of books around. So I just kept drilling in. I drilled into this even to the point of having it help me create a course, a workshop, or even an event using my book as the basis. And I'm just going to scroll here really quickly. I mean, this got really, really detailed. But what I loved about it, and I won't give you all of this right now because it's just too much, but I wanted to just give you the idea of what this can do in terms of helping you to get focus around what your book could be on, and how you could potentially market the book, and who you could market the book to, and how you talk about the book. And I thought that was what was really powerful in this whole process. So what I did was I asked some of you who signed up for this workshop to give me your backstory. So I asked Karen to give me her backstory. And Karen wrote in, she says she's eco-living advocate, vegan mom to a teenage boy, and a Star Wars fan, football supporter. She is new to making art. She's adept to life with long COVID after 21-year professional environmental health career. Karen lives in Brighton, south coast of England. Alongside much fun and accomplishment, she has multitude of challenges through 54 years of life. Here's the headline in just these 3 past years: serious prolonged illness, leaving her housebound, mom's dementia diagnosis, death of her partner, loss of career. Karen is getting her head around all of this with the help of meditation, affirmations, drawing, vision boards, manifesting. Karen is ready to find meaningful online money-making opportunity activities in line with her values so she can enjoy this unexpected retirement. I asked ChatGPT to give me, with this backstory, give me 15 book ideas. This is what it came back with. Nature's Harmony, a coloring book featuring intricate illustrations of flora and fauna found in the south coast of England, promoting eco-living and conservation. Mindful Mandalas, a collection of mandala designs inspired by Karen's meditation practice, offering calming and soothing coloring experience. Plant-Based Delights, a vegan-themed coloring book showcasing a variety of delicious plant-based recipes and ingredients, accompanied by intricate illustrations. Star Wars Adventures, a coloring book dedicated to the world of Star Wars, featuring iconic characters, spaceships, and scenes from movies. This was one where I said, this one I'm a little concerned about that recommendation because of trademark issues. So that may be one you might want to stay away from. Dreams of Brighton, a whimsical coloring book featuring vibrant and eclectic spirit of Brighton with illustrations of its landmarks, street art, and quirky characters. And it just went on and on. Football Fever, Inspirational Affirmations, Ocean Wonders. What I'll do for you, Karen, is I will copy and paste this and I will send this over to you. But one of the ones that stood out for me was Dreams of Brighton. So when this one, and I'll tell you why this one stood out for me, because I'm always thinking in terms of, okay, who could I walk this book into and potentially have them help me market it? My immediate thought was the tourist board or the tourist trade, whatever you have over there, because people are trying to travel again and that kind of thing. So a book like this that features the landmarks and street arts of the city, this could be a good one for you to make a book around. And this is popping into my head as I'm talking to you. You could go to the tourist board or the local tourist office or travel agents or whatever in your local community. Also, too, what would be fun is to create a color like a walking tour. So something where you could take them, if that's something you want to do, you could take them on a tour around Brighton to show them the landmarks. If you don't want to do that person, you can record it and give them the audio iteration of it so they can listen to it while they're in the landmarks, going there to color it and take pictures of it. You can have a Facebook group where they can share their pictures that they colored. You can connect with them. You can connect with local businesses in the Brighton area and have them sell the book in the stores. You could, like I said, the tourist bureau. The reason why I like the locality aspect of it is that there should be some element of your marketing that you do that is in your neighborhood. It's fine to do everything online, but getting that FaceTime with people can give you a lot more mileage quicker. So anytime that you can get in front of people directly face to face, it's always going to be to your benefit. Okay, so just taking this one idea, you're not trying to do all the ideas, you're just trying to find one that you can run with. This may not, and again, you'll do multiple books, but this is one that I see immediately how you can take what's in your neighborhood, in your own backyard, and start to make a connection. You can start out with even putting together sample pages. You can hire someone on Fiverr, which is one recommendation that I have. Get some sample pages made, take photographs of landmarks in your city, hire someone on Fiverr to do a line art iteration of that for like $5 for you. Have those sample pages, start building up, your connection, your email, your connection point. Reach out to local people in your local area, let them know what you're doing and see what happens. You take the step and let the energy take over and build itself. But I see and this is just one, you can do something when you're looking at your list of options, start thinking in your mind, what is in my neighborhood? What is in my city? What is in my town that I could go to with this? And start talking about it. Because I can tell you this right now, Every local business in your area, especially brick and mortar businesses in this online world right now, wants one thing: they want foot traffic. They want to get people in the door. They're always looking for outside locals, events, whatever that they can help them accomplish that. Think of how you can use your book and what you're about to help them do that. If you help somebody else get what they want, they'll help you get what you want, which is sales, foot traffic, attention, what have you. You know? So anyway, I'm gonna go over to the chat, and what I'll do is see if there's any questions. And Karen, if you're still with me, if you want to unmute yourself, tell me, how does this land for you?
Yes, I can see there's there's a lot of potential in that idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think what would also be useful would be the questions you asked ChatGPT on the other profile
Mm-hmm.
to drill down how you developed the idea,
Mm-hmm.
earlier
Mm-hmm.
to go further with this. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can definitely see the potential with different sectors in Brighton. Yeah, definitely, like visitors, sport, music,
Mm-hmm.
and then just generally walking along the seafront or
Mm-hmm.
the different parks, different cafes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, linking the vegan places or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the number 12 here is mindful nature walks. I didn't even see this one, and I'm already talking about walking tours. Well, here it is. I didn't even notice that one. I didn't scroll down that far, but there it is right there. So that could be, but see, this now you're talking about a series of books, not just one book. And again, this is just the the idea to kind of get the ball rolling. It will take on its own thing, but I'm just saying these are some simple ways. It's not about you developing all 15 books. It's about just starting with one, and a second one, and then, like I said, just connecting with your local community, just to kind of get the idea, started or fleshed out. But yeah, and again, there's a lot more. I mean, like I said, this whole research persona drilled down to the thing is so much. There's a more to that, and that is something that I can't offer. If that's something you're interested in having consulting with me on helping you really drill down that. But I think in the beginning, without getting too far down the rabbit hole, is just find that one idea. And what I loved about this persona is that I feel like, and let me ask you this, Karen, does this line up with what you gave me in terms of your bio here? Is what ChatGPT came up with, does that line up for you, or does that, in terms of your interest and your background and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on that list that doesn't fit. It probably hasn't picked out the fact that my career, my environmental health career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't picked up on that.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, doing a hazard spotting
Yeah. Now,
or food
one that I was
safety
looking at
colouring
here.
book or something, but
Yeah.
that's not particularly, that would work as well, but it's not.
Yeah.
I think the other ideas are
Well,
good.
let me, when you say your environmental career, what specifically, and I can ask it to, well, let me ask you this question. Of these 15, the one that popped out for me was Ocean Wonders. I don't know if that's anything to do with what you were doing. When you say environmental career, what exactly were you? What were
Yeah,
you?
environmental health. I was specifically doing health and safety work,
Okay.
um, public event safety,
Okay,
accident investigation,
okay,
like for the regulators,
got you,
like enforcement.
got you. Okay, okay, okay. That'd be an interesting one to make a book around. Um, yeah, that one I have to think about for a minute because I'm trying to figure out what would be the question I would ask it to help me find a book that would be, well again, I have to think about knowing what you've done in your work because and I don't want to, you know who the customer is, you know who the person is that you've worked with and what their concerns and issues are. So when you think about those people, those clients, those customers, whatever, if you were going to present in this context, some kind of a coloring activity journal type book, what kind of book would they even be interested in? Um,
I think if it was a colouring book, it'd probably be something like in schools, perhaps for looking for being safe when you're going out and about or thinking about going for a job or
okay, okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Because we would have to drill down into who the customers. I mean, is it for children to help them become more environmentally conscious? Because for an adult, they're going to be looking at books like this for relaxation, for expressing their own artistic um, inclinations. For
Yeah,
children,
see, I don't.
and that's fine if that's who your potentially who your customer is. So what I'm saying to you is it would be in order for us to even drill down even deeper into this, we would need to have some persona. Actually, that's a good one to write. Do a persona for the customer.
Yeah,
Is it for children? Is it for and children to do what? Usually to teach them something. If it's for an adult, usually an adult's going to buy a coloring book because they want to express themselves creatively. They want to relax. They want to express themselves in some kind of way where they may not feel like that they're a painter or a photographer or whatever, but they feel like they can sit down with a book and pencils and do that. Also keep in mind too, Karen, is that your book doesn't have to all be straight coloring pages. It can be a combination of things. It can be, like I said, Margaretha's book has recipes in it. The book that Christine is working on Black historical figures is going to have the bio of the person on the opposite side of the page. So you're learning about the person that you're getting ready to color. A lot of my student members have put in journal pages to put in their book. They put in word puzzles inside of their books. So it doesn't have to be a straight coloring book. It can be a combination of different types of activities a person can do. You would have to just get clear about from the environment, from your career, you have to start thinking about who's the end customer. And is what you've done, is specifically work-wise, is there someone that you've had experience with in your work life that you can say, oh yeah, that would be a good person for something like this? But we would have to know more about that person and what their interests are.
yeah. I mean that's probably why
Mhm.
ChatGPT didn't pick it out because it's not a good fit.
Mhm. Mhm. And like I said, I mean, and I'll just be honest with you, there may not be a fit for this particular
Yeah, then that's
audience.
fine.
And
That's fair.
but it does cover some of it, does cover some of your in terms of environment. Well, let's take it a step further. Let's expand on the definition of environmental. Environmental could be something as simple as teaching people to be mindful of. I mean, like I live here in California and I see people all the time. I've literally seen people open up their car door. They've had a cold drink in their hand. They get in their car, open the car door, and put the cup down on the parking lot and drive off. And there's a trash can like right there. You know,
Oh yeah, they do that here as well.
You know, and so it's like educating people or reminding people, and I would say start young so that they don't pick up those bad habits, hopefully as they get older, but having ownership for their neighborhood, having ownership for their street, ownership for their town. And you know, there used to be a commercial years ago that said something about whatever it was, don't pollute. So it could be things as simple as that, like don't leave your wrappers, just lay them on the ground. Don't,
Yeah,
or it could be around a story of a character or someone who's teaching kids that they don't leave the wrappers on the ground, that they put things in, so it could be an illustrative story to teach children, because environment starts with taking care of what's at home. It starts, your home, your town, your city, whatever you're in. So that could be the way that you could potentially angle some potential topics for books. Because again, it's something that is, I mean, we talk about the big things like, fossil fuels and all that stuff, but, let's just take it all the way back to what's right in literally your own backyard.
yeah, and things like buy less, use what you've got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
reuse, share things.
Yep.
But those sort of, and then the background pictures could have little whatever that, even if they were sort of abstract patterny pictures,
Mm-hmm.
there could be something that if you know Brighton, you would know that was Brighton.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think that
that
would,
could be like my hook, my sort of signature thing.
yes. Yes. Now you're thinking, yeah. Yeah. That's all it is. And it's like I said, it's just, yeah, when you're taking on something as massive as environment, and we think about all the big things, but it all again starts with what is literally what someone today in their own day-to-day environment, their own day-to-day world can do. And I could see, like I saw ocean wonders, but I don't know, you have to be an oceanographer. I don't know anything about that, or I don't know if you know anything about that, but I do know about people cleaning up the beach from all the plastics and and all of
Yeah.
that, you know. So what's coming to me is if it can be some kind of an illustrative story that is character sort of driven, where maybe again, I'm kind of leaning towards again the kids, that they're learning about, well, mommy, we don't do, we need to pick that up. We don't do that or whatever, or we're going to go clean the beach or whatever the case may be. But I think if you think of it more from a neighborhood perspective, in your own backyard perspective, and who grassroots could use, and even go so far as to visualize yourself. This is a good exercise for all of you. Visualize someone, you sitting with someone that's actually coloring from your book or journaling in your book. And who are they? How old are they? Are they male or female? Are they, children? How old are they? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? What are they passionate about? What are they interested in? Like write up a persona for that particular potential customer. And then you can use ChatGPT to help you drill down what subjects they be. And like I said, find the things that, like I said, that they, just kind of like get a picture in your mind, even go so far as to give that person a name. Because sometimes if we can think about someone sort of in a third person perspective, it helps us get us out of it so that we can think more objectively about them. And then we can then go into what is their interest. I'm planning to do a follow-up workshop on this where I'm going to be focusing more on this, and I'll tell you how you can participate in that too in a minute, because I feel like that this is a good starting point. But what I love about ChatGPT, and I'm actually planning a series of workshops around using this, everything from drilling down for persona to drill it, and also helping with crafting copy and things like that for your marketing and that kind of stuff. So just so you know, that's some things I'm working on doing. But I feel like that this is at least a good starting point. And I'm just curious from everyone here that's still here, what have you gotten out of what we just looked at for yourself or for Karen? You want to mute yourself? That's fine.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up the possibilities, and then I think when you, yeah, particularly I was just a bit stuck, and that's an obvious, like Brighton is an obvious answer, but I just didn't see it. So yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, I'm going to stop the share on this because, like I said, this can I want to go back over to the pres. And then what I want to do is oh, actually, I didn't mean to stop the share. I meant to share, go back to the presentation, not stop the share. So let me go back and do that again. All right. So again, this is an additional way to be able to do research on ChatGPT. What I want to do before I go any further with this, though, is I want to go over to show you the PDF document that I made for you. If I can find it here really quickly. Here it is. Okay. So this is called the Coloring Book Idea Prep Kit. This is something I've been working on for almost 2 months. And what it is, and again, all of you are getting a copy of it. What it is I'll walk you through a 10-step roadmap. And actually, I'm going to actually show this from another angle because this is kind of too small for me. There we go. I like this version better. I can show it to you. So anyway, this kind of walks through the process of helping you to get clear about the idea. The number one thing that you want to look for is your unique point of differentiation. What's going to be that thing that's going to make your book stand out? And it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be some big overthought out process. Like what comes to mind already I just listing all the different authors here. I go back to Margaretha's book, is her book features recipes, although it's quote unquote a coloring book, but it features recipes. So that to me is a point of differentiation, immediately a point of differentiation, where maybe there are other books out there, coloring books, activity books on tea, but the fact that she has recipes in hers is a point of differentiation in content and also in the way that she can market the book. The obvious thing that comes to me is you can make recipes from the book on maybe YouTube or Facebook or whatever the case may be. People get connected that way, and then they potentially want to buy the book. And I also want to say this as well, too. Think beyond just coloring book. With that said, think beyond just buyers being people who buy coloring books. Think beyond that. So what I loved about her idea was I immediately saw where, okay, that's opportunities for you to demonstrate the recipes in the book. That's the focal point. And then you are the author of this book or this series of books. So the books sell themselves because people enjoyed the recipe or they enjoyed what you showed them how to make. And so the book becomes a connection point. Christine's book is going to be on historical Black figures, unknown Black figures. So that in history globally. So again, we all know about, Martin Luther King. We know about, Shirley Chisholm. We know about these people. Some do, but like Christine's in Canada. So there's a whole world of people that I don't know anything about here in America. So again, that's an opportunity for her to go out and teach cultural awareness classes talking about these figures. And the book has the page they can color with the bio next to it. And then that's the conversation opener that she can have. Fo's book is all about animal awareness, looking at animals from a different perspective. They have personality. They're not just a source of food or products, but teaching, I'm sure, well, anyone, children too, but about that there's, I don't know, I almost said the word human, but but to take a very humanistic approach to looking at animals in a different way that makes, we all think about dogs and cats, and no one would ever think about, harming a cat or a dog for food or whatever the case may be. But no one thinks about that with cows and with pigs and with things like that. So what her book is doing is educating people. And again, that's an opportunity for her to go out and talk about that from a very fresh perspective. So think about your book as beyond just a coloring book. It doesn't have to be just a coloring book. It can have 10 pages they actually color, but it can have journal pages in it. It could have word puzzles in it. It could have, like I said, recipes in it. It could have, like if Karen did the book on Brighton and the walking tour, she can have information in there about that historical monument. What is this place that they're getting ready to color, and where they can go check it out and go find it. So think beyond just coloring. Don't limit it to just coloring. Anyway, so in the roadmap, I go through getting clear about the idea, unique point of differentiation, the Google research I just showed you, how to start using ChatGPT. Then we want to start looking at step 5, collaboration opportunities. Who can you connect with to talk about the book? That can be local businesses. It could be online, Facebook groups. It could be podcasts. It could be blogs. It could be local community groups. It could be local businesses. So think about, explore collaboration opportunities. Step 6, publish what I'm going to show you next in a moment, called the I'm thinking about post on social media to start attracting the attention of potential book buyers. Then it moves right into building up your social media presence. Step 8, putting something together, a sample page, a couple of sample pages from your book, so that you can use those to give away, to start getting people's contact information in exchange. So when the book does go live, you've actually got people to potentially sell the book to. And then this moves into step 9, which is launching a pre-publication email list and starting collecting leads, meaning people saying, I want to know more about the book. And step 10 is implementing all of it, putting it together. So I'm going to give you this. And then I break down everything we just discussed. Why do you want to publish a book? What's your story? What stopped you? And what ways will your book help make the world a better place? Who is the book for? You can write this out and put that information to ChatGPT, for an example, Karen. What is the subject, theme, or idea for your book? What subjects or topics is your audience already buying? That's a good indication of where you can position your book slightly differently. What's the primary reason why customers buy coloring books? Why do you buy books? What books are your customer currently buying, ideal customers buying? Subjects, interest, and themes. And then this is all the stuff about the research deep dive. This goes into what I just showed you, that formula, the title with the plus sign, coloring book, Amazon. What did you uncover for Amazon? What did you cover for Etsy? Based on research, how will your books stand out? Then there's opportunity here to look at collaboration opportunities. Clubs, churches are really big. Community centers, assisted living facilities, subscription box owners, social media influencers, grief counselors, event planners. Anything like that could be a potential collaboration opportunity. Who are the influences that, let's see, could be but not limited to other coloring book authors? So again, you want to find out who online has the attention of your audience. They don't have to be other coloring book authors. They can be people who just talk about, like I said, they could be someone that's passionately vegan, and they have a vegan cookbook, and they have vegan, they have a whole channel about veganism, and your book is about that. They may be interested in your book and can plug your book because they've got a large audience and influence already. One plug from that person could mean massive sales for you potentially. So don't don't discount people already in the space that has the attention of your audience. They don't have to be coloring book authors. Then any ideas or inspirations that come to you. I also have, it's a little online, I call it a quiz, it's more like a questionnaire. I call it Coloring Book Idea Jumpstarter. And it goes over to a Google Doc, which you can fill out. And this kind of also helps you to sort of figure out themes, subjects. I also put images of different books to kind of see which one of these based on title and cover sort of interests you. It's not, there's more I can add to this. What benefits do you hope your customer will get out of from your book? What interests or causes are you passionate about? In addition to books, what other things would you like to produce? Because a lot of people want to do things, they want to do journals, they want to do planners, stickers, wall art, puzzles, greeting card lines, they want to do t-shirts, tote bags, pillows, subscription boxes. What other things are you interested in? And then I'm also going to be offering a variety of different workshops. So this intel will help me to figure out what the next workshops will be about. And then how to get into this new little guy here, which I'm going to talk about now. So anyway, let me stop share for a minute. Actually, no, I want to stop share. I want to go back to what I was looking at before. The other thing that I wanted to also let you know, and I give you the link to this, to where to get this workbook, is, let's see, let's go through all of the forms. This is a list of all of the resources. So here's a link to ChatGPT, to Canva, Creative Fabrica. Creative Fabrica is a great resource to get already drawn coloring pages that you can use for your book and your samples. Midjourney is another tool, which I'm not going to go into today because it's more than we have time for, but that will also help you potentially to create coloring pages. So you get this list of resources, and then you're going to get some information about this new item that I've created called the Coloring Idea Prep Kit, and how to get that, and then how to learn more about the workshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the chat so that you'll have it. And then I want to go back to the presentation really quickly. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of wrap up what the next moves are. So beyond getting an idea for the book, you want to test the idea. And the best way to test the idea is with your current social media following, if you have any at all. This will also be people that you know personally. The one I love is this question here. I'm thinking about making, creating, or doing a book, course, whatever, on this subject. And if you're interested in it, type yes or no or whatever in the comments. And that way you're taking the temperature of your current audience. To flesh it out, I'm thinking about creating a coloring activity book for moms with young children ages 4 to 6 that encourages tactile creative expression over giving your child a tablet. If you'd like a sample page, you can color with your little one, type yes in the comments, and I'll DM you the details on how to get a copy of it. So that's sort of the script. Of course, it's customized to your subject. And this is kind of what it looks like. So you've got the copy here, and then you make a graphic in Canva that you can accompany that post with, and that's how you get those first people in your audience interested in what you're doing and the potential of your book idea. And I actually give you a template on how to, in Canva, how to make this sort of graphic. So this is sort of your first way to sort of testing the idea. And then of course, there's validating the idea, and that means that you've gotten clearance about the idea, you know it's something you want to move forward with, you're passionate about it, there's interest in it, and you're ready to keep it moving. So from that point on, then this is when you want to actually start looking at, building out your book. All righty. Now, one question that may come up is that you don't know how to draw. You don't know where to get pictures from. So I wanted to show you this really quickly. If you got a photograph of something that you'd like to have recreated as a line art piece, you can use a service called Fiverr, and you can send those images over to Fiverr, and they can take a photograph like this and turn it into a line art piece like this. This photograph was what I gave my guy that I work with on Fiverr. He gave me back this image here in the middle, and then I added this floral background behind it. So this is, if you don't know how to draw, there's Creative Fabrica to get images already done, photographs that you can send in to an artist on Fiverr and have them draw out for you. Or the next option now, and actually I want to show you a few more samples. This is another photograph that one of my coloring book club members sent me, and I had this color to a coloring page for her on that one. There was another one of my members that sent me this picture of her grandkids. I had this turned into a line art drawing. But now we have AI. So all of these coloring pages were done with AI. There's a tool called Midjourney, which I'm actually going to start teaching more about and how to make coloring pages as well. So you don't have to know how to draw. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, then you've got options. You can get photographs, have them done with someone on Fiverr. You can use AI, or you can use Creative Fabrica and source stock images that are already done. All right. And again, AI is not just for page design. You can do your covers, you can do bios, social media content, email, sales copy, Amazon book descriptions, scripts. I mean, it's amazing. Lorraine Dawson is one of the members in my program, and she has, her book is called Sarcastic. It's on sarcastic humor and wit. And I know there's another title for it, but I can't think of the full title right now. But anyway, she also does craft items as well. She also is in the UK. And she uses ChatGPT to be able to help her with her descriptions and so on and so forth. All righty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch gears here for a moment. I'm going to see if there's any questions about anything that I've shared so far. And then I want to show you the next steps to move forward if you want to, on how to help you get your idea out of your head and into your hands. Okay. So does anyone have any questions about anything I've shared? Any questions at all? Let me just stop share for a minute. No questions? Everyone's quiet? Okay. All right. All right. So again, I've shared a lot with you. Hopefully I didn't overwhelm you too much, but I wanted to show you all of what foundationally you kind of need to start thinking about or looking at in order to take this from idea, something that you feel like you can't do or you don't know how to do, into something that you can do with support along the way to get it done. Again, when I did mine, I had the background in a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. So there wasn't any program out here to tell me how to put together a book. I basically just took what I already was doing and what I knew, and I used what I had in my toolkit. I took my history, my work history, and that's what I used to develop my book. And I've always had a love for publishing. I've written books. It's a lot of work. After I wrote my first book, I swore I'd never do it again. And that was 20 plus years ago. And I've done multiple since then, but it's a lot of work. Anyone who's written a book knows it's a lot of work. What I love, but the coloring activity market for me and industry for me has really opened up my mind in so many different ways, because again, people, they're just looking for a place to bring it down. I actually don't even have the bandwidth that much anymore to read a book. I listen to books. I don't read them that much anymore. It doesn't hold my attention long enough to do it. But when I color, that goes to a whole new way. My mind goes to a whole new place. And that's what I personally love about coloring, is that I can be in that moment. I'm not on the computer. I'm not on the phone. I'm not responding to messages and all that other kind of stuff. I can just be in the moment. So I want to just make sure I say to all of you, no matter what you decide to do moving forward from here, is that you take what you're considering doing or what you've done and take it seriously, because you're providing a safe respite place for people to do this, because we all need it. Everything is way too hot. Everyone is way too stressed out. There's way too much stuff going on. And if your place, if your little world can provide that safe container for people, why would you not want to do that? So if it's, again, you're here because you have an interest in this subject or you wouldn't be here. And you're hearing what I'm saying because there's something that I've shared or have said or will say that's going to resonate with you and what you want to do moving forward. And if I can be a part of helping you accomplish that, I'm all in. As my students here, Marcia, who's also in the UK, I'm telling you, you guys, you UK people, you're gonna make me move over there. Christine, Margaretha, you all know, and Fo, you all know that I love what I do, and I'm committed to helping you get your vision out there. And if you ever have any questions about any of that, ask any of them, and I believe they'll tell you that. And I'm committed to your vision. It's the thing that I didn't even know I wanted to have 2 years ago when I did my book, and I put everything into this that I don't really see out there. And so, with that said, I want to introduce you to something that I've created that I feel can be, and I'll let you decide for yourself what step you want to take, if at all, next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the page and I'm going to share the screen, and then I will go over what I have for you, because I know everyone's at different levels. So this is my latest new project. It's called the Coloring Book Idea Prep Kit. This here is deep diving into everything we've talked about today, into helping you really get clear about that idea, because it starts there. Because it's not just it's about the book, but it's also about the idea for the book. I don't believe that you start talking about your book or marketing your book when the book is published. You start talking about the book, you start marketing the book, you start sharing the book, even as you're developing the book. And so why I created this prep kit is because when you get into the mechanics of putting the book together, that in and of itself was a whole process in and of itself. But what I want to do, and what I found, the more that I can get you ready to go into developing the book, the smoother that process will be. So a lot of the stuff I've covered today, this is what's covered inside the prep kit. It's validating that idea through Amazon research, Etsy research, ChatGPT, and drilling things down. It's getting those sample pages done. It's getting that social media presence started, including a Facebook group and an email list. It's starting to develop that. You're developing the book itself, but you're also developing the basis of your coloring book publishing sort of business, if you will. And so I wanted something that was very affordable, something you could get started with immediately, something that could at least get you going. And then, and it may be now, you're ready to ascend into then getting support with getting the book physically done, then that tier is available for you as well. So and so I'm going to put the link in here and let you kind of read through it, because it's long, but kind of read through it on your own. But what I wanted to show you was just kind of give you the overview of everything that I discussed today and what you can do to get started. These are some of my student members. This is Kantona, did her book on bullying. Kantona went to a church event after her book was published and sold 30 copies in one afternoon. And I've also interviewed her for my podcast, and you can listen to her podcast interview here. Then I also have Nefertari Geis. She did a book on, when she first presented her book idea to me, I honestly could say I didn't quite get it. She wanted to create a book for people who were incarcerated and how they can actually get back into society, I guess, if you will. What was going to life be like post being incarcerated? And I didn't really get the idea, but she was very passionate about the idea. So I said, okay, well then let's work on this. I think Nefertari has sold close to 100 copies of her book. She's very grassroots, very tactile. She doesn't rely on online sales. She primarily sells her book at vendor events and that kind of thing. But it's without going into, I'll go into it more later, but basically people that she wrote the book for, actually other people outside of that particular situation has bought her book. But recently, someone who was recently, I guess, not incarcerated, approached her just a few days ago at a vending event that she did. And actually, she gave him a copy of the book. And he called the book a blessing for him. And so almost everyone else other than who she wrote the book for has bought the book, but then it became a full circle moment where she gave the book to someone who actually she intended the book to be for. I see her going into having a complete speaking career and going around to churches and organizations around the country talking about the justice system or more so the injustice system, and selling her book that way. So I'm saying is that, as I say, I talk about that getting in front of your book. You have to be able to get in front of your book. You can hear her whole interview here, also on this page as well. These are just samples of some of the books that I've helped my members and students create. Like I said, Foe's book here, Animal Kind is here. Margaretha's book, one of them, Tea and Me Time, is here. Nefertari's book is here. Marsha's book is here. And Lorraine's book is here. And so these are just a few of them. There's way more. You'll just kind of see all the information here. To nutshell it, these are the different options. Oh, if you decide to join, well, let me go to the bottom and I'll show you. If you decide to join today, what you will be able to get is, there's 3 options. If you want to just get the Coloring Book Creator Prep Kit, that's $9 and then $9 a month. You get 1 Q&A monthly coaching call a month, but this is to take everything I've shown you today and help you continue to flesh out that idea. I give you started social media template scripts. I give you worksheets, some other additional workshops I'm working on. You get that. You get already you get access to a 3-day recorded workshop challenge that I did back in March. You get access to that immediately, and that will accompany the book that I just showed you a little bit ago. You'll get that. If you decide to go and join the and get your book done in 30 days course, that's $97. And you would get this prep kit for free. So if, let's say you sign up, if you sign up for the self-study course for $97 today, then you will get this these two go together, okay? If you're not ready to get the book done yet, you just want to get the prep kit, that's $9 a day and $9 a month. This here is a self-study course. So there is 1 Q&A coaching call a month that happens with that. You send in your questions, I record them and then put them in the portal, in the Facebook portal. If you want to get both of these plus 3 months of live Q&A coaching from me, that happens 6 times a month on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the first 3 weeks of each month, then go with the Coloring Bookpreneur Creator Society, and that's $297. So this is everything, the course, the prep kit, plus 90 days of or 3 months of coaching, live coaching. That's the only difference. You get the coaching calls with me. Again, those are twice weekly coaching calls, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm usually on there for 2 hours. I'll answer every question that you have, support you any way I can. Any additional workshops or anything else I offer, you will automatically get that grandfathered in automatically. So this is kind of the best value if you need more hand-holding and more support, and you want to be able to get access to me all the time. This is the best deal. But if you just want to kind of mull it over and get started, this one here is the way you get started. So this is sort of entry level. This is next step. If you're ready to get the book done, again, this is a self-study course. And this is if you want the self-study course plus the prep kit plus 3 months of coaching with me. So it's $9 a month, cancel anytime. And I also say this too. Let's say if you got the Publish Your Book in 30 Days self-study course for $97, and then you decide, hey, I want to go ahead and join the society, you would just pay the extra $200, and you can do that whenever you want. So again, I wanted to make it as affordable, but as available as possible. So that's really what I have. And then here is, you'll see, testimonials. There's, the people I've worked with. I got to update that. Michelle just told me she's now up to 14 books she's published in the last year. Here's the interview with Cantona, Lorraine. These are, and Marcia, which I love this. Her unboxing video has always made me smile from day one. You also will get, I'm going to do a special training on ChatGPT for writing your emails. You get that as a part of the kit. A social media template pack, you get that. You get a book display pack. And then I also did a podcast interview with a training on how to develop your first $1,000 through your book publishing business. It doesn't have to be just book sales, but other things that you could potentially do. So that's really kind of what I have for you. And what I want to do is I'll pop the link in the chat. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me. And I'm going to be doing an orientation call. And I'm going to be doing another workshop on developing the idea further with ChatGPT. Those are coming in the next week. So if you're interested in that, you know, if you sign up, then I will put that there. Okay. So that'll give you all of the information that you need to kind of get started. So again, if you already are a member of the society, which some of you here are, then you get all of this automatically anyway. So, but anyway, does anyone have any questions about anything that I've shared so far about any of the levels, the kit, anything of that nature I can answer for you? And I did put the link in the chat, and I'll also put the link here to the workbook because I promised I'd give you that as well. And let me copy that link. So the second link here is to the workbook, and the first link is to the sales page for the offer page for the prep kit. And I said you have the option to pick up one of the other two if you're interested in that. So if anyone have any questions I can answer for you. I would love it if, I know I said I have some of my students here. I have Christine here, I have Margarita here, I have Marcia here. If you'd like to unmute yourself and maybe chat a little bit about your experience with our time together, and anyone who maybe is on the fence or thinking about it but not sure. I'd appreciate that.
Sure, it's Christine here. Hi. I just wanted to say I've been working with Rodney a couple of months, 2 months now, I guess, and he's helped me or given me the confidence to show me to take an idea from inside my head and to actually make it work. To some of the things that hold you back or you're afraid of or don't have confidence in, he's helped me work through that. He's patient, he's creative, he's talented, he's innovative, and Rodney's really helped me get the ball moving. So yeah, that's my testimony for Rodney Washington.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I can't wait to get your book in my hand. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Too. Thanks.
Oh,
Right.
God. Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, this is Marcia. I'm not going to come on camera today, but I would just like to agree with what Christine said. You know, working with Rodney has been a real journey and an eye-opener to all of the things that held me back. You know, so it's overcoming all of those hurdles. And a lot of it wasn't necessarily my ability to, you know, make a picture or something like that, because I am like from a graphic designer background, but it's overcoming the headspace almost. And Rodney's been really fantastic in terms of keeping me to account and going along the journey with me. So it was fantastic to do the coloring book in 30 days, a little bit longer than 30 days, but not much longer. And once it was done, it was just like, wow, I've actually done it. And when people say to you, oh, you know, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm an author. And just the smile that comes on my face, their face, and it's just like, wow, actually, I am an accomplished author. So yeah, if you're thinking about it and you've always wanted to do a coloring book, then just do it, because it does open up other avenues to you as well. Like I've done workshops now and merchandise and other things that I wouldn't have done before. So go for it. It's worth it.
Thank you. You've been a joy to work with too, Marcia. I remember you were one of the first people I spoke with when I was conceptualizing this, and literally you were the first person I spoke with when I was even thinking about what this could potentially be. And I said, if I make this, would you do it? And you said yes. So you're a big catalyst to why this even exists. To be truthfully honest, you're the main reason why I even created this. Because if you would have said, I don't know that I would have, I don't know that I would have moved forward with it. So thank you.
Teamwork makes the dream work, honestly.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can I just add as well? I'd like to say thank you, Rodney. Obviously, when I started the 30-day colouring book, I was drawing all my pictures, so it took me a lot longer because I didn't sort of go with the concept of getting the images, but it really gave me the push as well to keep drawing and getting it done. And I just want to say to everyone else that outside the actual course, whenever and I'm sure other people had the odd difficulty thing here, I just private messaged Rodney, and whenever he was available, he got back to me and did help me on my own specific things that I was struggling with. So it's not just the course and then you're left to it. Rodney's always there for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey. I know you've had a lot of, well, and we all do. I mean, like, we have all our plans, and then life has a way of saying, yeah, but don't forget about me over here. So, but I was so excited because it took you a little bit of time, but when I saw that video of you with that book in your hand, that just made my day. I was so excited to see it in your hand because I know what you need to get it done. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful book. And Margarita, you have any?
Yes, I would like to, say that Rodney is one of a kind. I never thought that I would be a author or publisher of a coloring book. That wasn't even in my forte. When I saw his group said 30 days to do a coloring book, I just rolled over it, and then I came back and saw the ad again on my Facebook feed. I said, well, let me give it a try. I have nothing else to do. And I started my first book December of 2022, and I've got 3 books already out. And I'm going to do a 4th one just to come full circle. And doing this, you have nothing to lose. You have a lot to gain. And I feel much better that I'm doing something different outside of my box, my comfort zone. And this is what it's all about. Do something out of your comfort zone. I combined 2 things. I love tea and I love baking. And I combined it into one book. My book is unique. There's nothing else out there like my books. So just do the course and just have fun with it. Rodney's the best. He's patient. He's always there for you. If he doesn't get to you immediately, he will get back with you. If you have any questions or any problems, when I feel burnt out or I wanted to give up, Rodney just told me just to take a pause, take a break, and then come back to it. And that's what I did. And he's still there for me because he knows I'm going through a lot of issues right now. So he's the best.
Thank you, Margarita. Yeah, like I said, when you came to me with your idea, I was so excited. I was just like, oh, that sounds, immediately the minute you said it to me, I like that idea. I didn't even do any research on it. I was like, I like that idea. It's just because it was fresh and it was different. And like I said, I just, again, see so many possibilities for you and things we've already talked about, which I won't discuss on the call, but that you've been working on. So, I know you've got some things going on right now in your personal life, but again, prayerfully, those things will get taken care of, and that you'll be able to get back after it. Because all of you do have something really special. And like I said, I just say it all the time. I just want you to fully own it, embrace it, embrace this is all about identity. Identity is everything. And when you really get clear on your identity, you just know who you are, and you know what you have to offer, and you know what you're here to do. And you don't think about it. You're not sheepishly trying to not talk about things or hide things. You know who you are and what you stand for and what you're behind, and you don't have any problem sharing that in the world. And so when you do that, people feel that. And of course, they want to be a part of whatever you're doing if it interests them, because they feel that energy coming off of you. So one of the slides I didn't show in here is that the best marketing is love. It's the best marketing in the world you could ever have is love. And if we as creatives, we get into our heads so much about pushing stuff on people or trying to manipulate them, and because that's a lot of what, unfortunately, sometimes what the business world is about, is manipulating people into things that they don't really need or really want. But if you are focused on your identity, the people you're here to connect with, and just sharing from that place, you don't have to push anything. It sells itself. It happens itself. And so whenever stage you're at right now, moving forward, I hope that you hear that part of it. If everything else I said was kind of like, oh, okay, but you hear that part of it, that's going to quell a lot of your concerns that you have. Allison says, are coloring books generating profits? I believe they are. They are. I mean, is it a high income? Well, let me back it up. Books of any genre, Allison, whether it's a coloring book, a written book, an audio book, whatever kind of book it is, they will generate as much profit as your ability to take on the identity of becoming a bookpreneur, which is why I named that higher ticket level program that the other one, I call it Bookpreneur. We cannot, any author will tell you, even New York Times bestselling authors will tell you, you got to get out there and be pushing that book. You got to be out there talking about that book all the time. What I would ask you to consider as a part of your reframe of that question, any book author will tell you that there is money in the book in and of itself, but there's also money in the related things that derive from the book. So any person out there who's written a book will tell you it's the workshops, it's the other things, the ancillary things that they do. This is where the sales come from. The book becomes the invitation. The book becomes the entry level point into their world. And that's what you want to create as a world, in a sense, where that they feel that desire to have the mug that goes with the book and the pillow that goes with the book, and they want the this and the that, and they want to join you and hang out with you in all the different kinds of ways. When I published my book, because again, I come from that world. I've helped people set up businesses online for years. When I published my book, I didn't focus on just book sales because that wasn't enough for me. I wasn't interested in just throwing a book on Amazon and just letting a little commission check come in every night. I think it's 90 days, I think, before you get your money. I wasn't focusing on that. I was like, okay, I want to actually hang out with people with my book. And so that's when my coloring club came out of that. And so I made money from my coloring club, but the book opened the door for me to create the coloring club. Did I have to make my own book to do that? No, but that's what I chose to do. So I'm always encouraging all of my students and my members and everything to think beyond the book. It's not just about the book. What other things can you create to accompany the book? So the book, because you got to sell a lot. It depends on also what you consider a lot of money too. But you got to sell a lot of books to be able to make a lot of money on Amazon. And even those who do extremely well, I mean, who sell thousands of dollars worth of books a month, it takes time to build that up. It takes time and a lot of work and a lot of energy. So if you're going to work anyway, why not create other opportunities along the way so that everything isn't just dependent upon it's one income stream. It's not everything, it's one. So that's why I just know from personal experience and having written multiple books, like when I went, I'll share this one with you that has nothing to do with coloring books, but I've been in this game a long time. I wrote a book for photographers back in the day that I was selling for $15. I did speaking gigs around that book. I did, all the obligatory things around the book. And someone saw my book because they knew me. They saw my book and they immediately contacted me, and I ended up working together with them for about a year, helping them build their business online. And I ended up with over $20,000 in business from that person in 1 year because I had that book out there. And it was a post I did on Facebook. My, at the time, business mentor just said, just post your book on your personal page. I wasn't even trying to do that. And she pushed me to do it, and I did it. And the person bought the book and then turned around and contacted me and said, hey, I just got looking at your book. I want to talk to you about you helping me get my business set up. So what I say to you to say is, you don't know where the gift is going to come from. You don't know where the blessing is going to come from. So expand your definition about what that could be for you. But it only happens because you put yourself out there. You cannot hide. And I also want to say this too, is that if you're selling a lot of books on Amazon, that's great, but just be really clear, that's Amazon's customer, not yours. You will never know who bought that book from you. They will never tell you that. If the person that bought the book tells you they bought it, that's another conversation, but Amazon won't tell you that. You want to be able to get someone that can buy multiple things from you, not just one book. So if you can offer a variety of different ways to be in your world, one person would be that you can offer multiple things to will generate more profit from you than just relying on strictly book sales. Because I think the average now per book, I think, is like $2 or $3 a book. You got to sell a lot of books at $2 or $3, but you could offer maybe a workshop based on your book, or you can offer a membership community like what I ran for a year based on your book, or you could offer a variety of different products based on your book. It's work, but you're going to work anyway. So you're going to work anyway, why not work for your benefit and use your book as sort of the way to bring people into that world for you? So yeah, books of themselves, they generate profits, yes. But again, I think in terms of building an ecosystem, not just relying strictly on book sales. I hope I answered your question, Allison. So does anyone else have any questions for me? I know it's going almost 2 hours. I'm sorry. You know me. All of you who know me know, but I would love to have, Allison, if it's something that you're interested in. Like I said, start with the prep kit if that interests you. And then, like I said, you can always ascend. You've got if you download that PDF, there's a link there also to it. Let me share screen one last time, and then I'll let you all go. Unless anyone has any questions. Let's see, let me share the screen one last time. If you download the PDF, like I said, if you click on this button here, that'll take you back over to the presentation page where you can see all the stuff about the prep kit and all of that. And if you decide to join the 30-day course, you will be put into a private Facebook group. And I'm actually working on a workbook, what they call it, it's like a spreadsheet that's going to have direct links to where all the videos and things are hosted. And there, if you're just doing the 30-day course, if you decide to go into the society, then you'll go into a portal like this. And I'm transitioning some things still, but you'll be in a portal like this. But this is where you'll find all the resources and everything here that I've talked about. Also on that form as well that I just showed a second ago, this is where you will find out, if I can find the link and I can get back to it. No, this is not it. I can't find it right now. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I lost it. Good. Okay, there's a link there at the bottom. I can't find it. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, the workbook that I showed a second ago, there is a link at the bottom to get on the wait list for the workshop, the follow-up workshop I'm doing at this. So anyway, that's all I got. Oh, the link's right here, Del Rodney. Let's see, share screen. Yeah, so like I said, you'll be getting this. You should have the link to this now. And again, there's also going to be an audio, a little mini audio course that's going to accompany this. This is all getting set up this weekend. So it'll be like a little audio course that'll go with this workbook. And at the bottom of this page here, you'll see the resources. And you'll see the where you can sign up for the prep kit or ascend into one of the other levels if you'd like. And then this is where you can join me for the workshop. Now, this workshop is exclusively for members. So if you decide to join me today, Allison, in this, then you would get an invitation to one of these workshops. So these workshops are a part of the membership, or if you decide to join the course, you get those workshops, you get access to that. Okie doke. All righty. Well, on that note here, I will let you all go. Thank you again for hanging out with me on a Saturday. And I'll be doing some more of these coming up next week. So I'll let you all know. I'm going to be talking about different subjects around AI and creating content as well. So I had fun hanging out with you today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook as well for Facebook Messenger. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend.